Hello and welcome everyone, my name's Kepken and today I've rushed 20 Elder Guardians just to see what profit can you make out of it and in what time are you gonna be able to complete those maps. So the time that that took me to complete all of them was 1 hour and 15 minutes. By any means I wasn't rushing on the fastest character. My character is not the most efficient as well. But the big chunk of this time was still due to how Elder Guardians work with the Elder animation. Whenever he eats the original boss of the map, then all the Elder Guardians having these phases where you need to wait for a bit. So it was 1 hour and 15 minutes. It wasn't really fast, but still it was pretty okay. The maps themselves that I've bought, they were all from tier 14 to tier 16. They weren't really my favorite. There weren't any good layouted maps. There were some particularly good layouts like City Square or Crimson Temple, but not too many of them. So yeah, this is the time that took me to get all of them. I'm gonna show quick footage of me killing all those bosses and stuff. And I calculated the only drops from the bosses themselves. So everything that I've looted throughout the maps doesn't really count here. And yeah, the only mods on Atlas that I do have are for increased chance to drop of Conqueror maps from bosses, increased drop chance for Shaper and Synthesis maps to drop from them. But to be honest, it wasn't really too good in terms of map drops at all. So at least from my feel, Conquerors of the Atlas drop way more maps as well as Shaper ones. I don't know if there are any drop chance related things there when it comes to chance of dropping maps in particular. So Elder Guardians dropped some regular maps for me, but probably from 20 it was like close to 5 regular maps. And they've dropped a little, just small amount of other Guardian maps and stuff like that. So yeah, the main thing here are gonna be fragments and Maven invitations. At least that's what I got. So it's good for me to show what we've got, what we've and present you all the calculation behind this. So we've used 20 maps which cost in general 200 chaos, so it's 10 chaos pay each. They are very, very cheap in terms of all the Guardian maps in general, and the fragments for them are quite expensive. So each and every fragment costs 30 chaos. So just by rushing to the boss itself, you are making profit, so you can't really lose money in here. It's always guaranteed when if you able to kill the boss, you are in plus, but it's all, of course, it's all time is money. So yeah, here's our 20 fragments. And here's our invitations, and here's just the regular Elder Influence loot that was dropped from those bosses, and one unique, which is, yeah, we wouldn't really count these. There can be good items, but it's there's quite low chance of them being there. Okay, so the cost was 200 chaos. All the fragments cost 600 chaos, and all the invitations, I've dropped 5 of them, cost 80 chaos each, which means these here are 400 chaos and these here are 600 chaos. Which means that from invitations and fragments themselves, we've made 1000 chaos and we've lost 200 chaos for buying the maps themselves, which means that in 1 hour and 15 minutes, we've got something close, not something close, but 800 chaos profits just from the map boss drops themselves. As you can see here, there were 4 maps that dropped with other Guardians, 2 Shaper ones, 1 Conqueror, which probably gonna be more expensive than the other ones, and only one other elder. So you will have to buy conqueror maps. You can't really sustain them. Maybe you can with some other atlas, with some particular atlas strategies, but this wasn't the point of me checking this thing out. The point was to, without any investment and with only talents for some additional map drops on the atlas talent tree, to see how much can you make and to see what you can get specifically from the bosses while rushing towards them, and how much time is it gonna cost. And as you can probably calculate quite easily, whenever you are playing this, there are two ways for you to increase your gains, of course. The first one is to go with Maven's Invitation, the Twisted. So whenever you, just turn on your Maven, kill all those bosses with Maven's Presence, and then farm the invitations of Maven, which will decrease your profit. It will decrease your immediate profits because you wouldn't sell your invitations, but it is a way to, you probably will drop more fragments from Maven's Invitation than it will cost you to use it. So it will be again a net positive, and otherwise you probably otherwise it's, you can just skip the Maven totally and go for Ether of Worlds, and that means that with 20 maps being 1 hour and 15 minutes, for example, how it was for me, that means that there's a little bit more, some additional like 30 minutes or probably a bit less, and you will have your Ether of Worlds or Searing Exarch done, and that's gonna be 1.1 additional divine from it. So yeah, it's up to you if you want to do this or you don't want to do this. But it was quite interesting for sure just to do this. The fights themselves are very easy, at least in my opinion. They are not, Shaper Guardians can be way more deadly, especially with Minotaur and maybe Chimera. They can be, and yeah, Phoenix with some mods. The mods on all maps that I was using were just totally random. And on the bosses I didn't die at all, and my build being quite squishy, even though it has pretty okay damage. But yeah, in terms of disparity between power levels of different guardians, the elder ones are definitely one of the easier ones. Maybe after that, I don't know, depends on the build, I guess. So yeah, that's what we've got. I'll probably go and do some. I'll probably go and do these 5 invitations for the next video, and then we're gonna look what we've got from 5 invitations and was it worth it in general. Yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.